How's it going, Titans? Welcome back to a brand new Titans video. Now this is a Q&A video post season 2. If you guys remember, I did a Q&A kind of pre-finale. Now we can talk about everything that happened. And my oh my, or boy my boy. That's an old kind of saying, but either way, that was a finale and a half. Now, for interesting reasons and not so interesting reasons. You guys submitted a lot of interesting questions for me to talk about post season 2, and I'm going to try and answer them like with my perspective. Obviously, that's what answering a question is, but to the best of my ability, to what I think they're doing, what I'm vibing from them, what I kind of know from like anonymous sources kind of thing, from what they know, and just things like that. Titan season 2 for me has been better than season 1, but it wasn't perfect, and it's just a shame. Like, and this is in my honest opinion, I love this show, but that finale, that wasn't it, Chief. Like, it kind of wasn't for what we will get into. I mean, I assume you've already seen my review. It's a long ass review. I'll leave it in the cards above if you haven't seen it. What are you doing here? But now let's talk about everything that kind of happened. And this is going to be a long video. I mean, come on, it's a Q&A. I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. I'm looking at 33 screenshots right now, and you know me, I haven't even answered question 1 yet, and I'm still talking. So yeah, let's kind of get into question 1. But before we do, guys, of course, subscribe to the channel for more Titans videos like this. You know I'll keep you up to date with anything brand new on DC Universe. And go ahead and like this video if you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying hearing my thoughts about various comic book nerdy things. And yeah, I really appreciate every single one of you liking the video, supporting the channel. And of course, if you want a family in between Titans, obviously it's filming in April, but we're probably not going to get it back till September. Well, come and hang with me outside of YouTube, outside of these videos in my Discord server. Link will be in the top pinned comment. You know you want to join. You know you want to say hi. And if you do join, by the way, drop a line of saying hi, I'm new here or something like that in the general chat, and we'll show you the ropes. So, question 1, I promise, we're actually going to answer it this time. Kendall Hurley asks, hey Boba, I was wondering why Bruce and Jason didn't have any dialogue this season, and, was it a mistake not showing their relationship? Why didn't they have dialogue? In terms of that, like, I'm not in the writer's room or like, answering to Greg Walker, the showrunner, or anything like that, but, with my answers, I'm going to try and understand. I don't know. That was a waste. Let me just get that out the way. Well, I get why they didn't at the end. Like, Jason is kind of no longer a Titan. He's no longer currently with Batman. He's kind of in the wind. And this is all going to set up for a season 3 Titans iteration. That's important to remember. So we're not necessarily going to get the Joker with a crowbar. For all of those of you who are wanting that, they're going to kind of, tread new innovative kind of ground, I believe, because I like new innovative ground being tread on traditional, super traditionalist comic book canon. Say what you will about Gotham, but they did an amazing job of that in most areas. There are of course some lackluster kind of areas, but they treaded new ground, just like what they're going to do with Jason. So towards the end of the season, I get why they didn't do that, because Jason, it was like F the Titans, F all of you. So in that Titans Tower scene, he could have had a scene with him. That would have been so good, don't you think? That would have been so good. Like Ian Glenn with his current Robin, obviously being Bruce Wayne, that would have been amazing. But that's why it didn't happen at the end. As for in between, that's more of just asking the writers room, like, why didn't they fit it in? As for what we saw on the show, they just couldn't fit it in with everything else we saw. The only other time I believe we saw Ian Glenn's Bruce Wayne in person was in episode 1, when Dick Grayson went to Wayne Manor to kind of say sorry. I've been way too blaming everything on you kind of thing. And other times Bruce Wayne was actually in the person, was just like over the phone, where he was like analyzing this ancient kind of combat stuff in that textbook, when he was on the phone to Dick Grayson. Other than that, he was hallucination. So apart from that, Bruce Wayne wasn't really around. And we now know that the Elko Diner scene was just Raven with her powers that are really interestingly growing, but we'll answer more stuff about that. But I've been answering this question for too long. But yeah, it was a mistake. It would have been cool if they somehow included a scene with the current Robin, and yeah, they better do that in season 3 somehow. I don't know. Joshua Atkinson asks, do any of the Titans actually have a secret identity? Now this is a very, very good point that so many people have pointed out to me, and I agree with. Something I actually didn't pick up on, like myself, like when this kind of first blatantly happened this season. Dove always has a mask off, and Donna never wore a mask. So as for that, it's a bit neither here nor there in terms of like the latter of your question. But first of all, do they have secret identities? Seemingly in this show, they don't really do a good job of it. Titans writers I think you do need to concentrate on that a bit more. Maybe it's your goal to not really care about doing that as much, but I think you should focus on that. I'm not saying the Titans writers watch these videos. I mean, who knows? It's actually been really cool having some Doom Patrol writers comment on my videos before, so you never know. I'm just saying this as a general message. I think they do need to concentrate on that because one criticism this season, I remember reviewing episode 1 or 2 or whatever it was, you know, when the Titans went after Dr. Light. I think that was episode 2, episode 3. My memory's going a bit fuzzy, but always on the comms, it's just like Dick or Donna or, you know, Dawn. It's just like, why not Robin? Okay, he wasn't Robin this season, but you know what I mean. They could have done that instead of Hank. Why not Hawk? Things like that matter to fans. I know it doesn't have to be, you don't have to excel in every tiny little area, but I think that's an easy thing to address. So I think next season, don't say Dick over the comms, say Nightwing. Don't say Hank, say Hawk. Like that, little things like that really do matter. And especially in the finale, yeah, when Dove had her little goggles off, giving the doll to the girl. It's just, you know, in the comics, it's a lot more concentrated on than in live action usually. But, you know, identities are important. You will have people saying, oh, exposed, this person's a vigilante, whole life ruined. As for Donna Troy, though, things like that, you know, this is what I meant about neither here nor there. It's kind of the whole, like, Superman, Clark Kent thing. It's so obvious that, you know, it's really a little bit of gel in the hair, and he's not Clark Kent. There's a lot of heroes like that, so I assume Wonder Girl, just like Diana Prince, you know, being Wonder Woman, is kind of a thing that I forgive. But saying the names is something that can easily be written into the script or changed. So Lawrence Kudin asks Boba. Okay, so here's one of them that a lot of you are probably wondering about. Are we not talking about that the blonde Themyscirian at the airport was maybe Cassie Sandmark? I don't believe it was. I truly don't believe it was. There's a lot of questions that got asked. Like, I have to filter through a lot of them from what you guys submit on the community tab. Sometimes they're like repeated questions. So yeah, there was a lot of people thinking this was Cassie. I just didn't think of it like that. When I saw that scene, this is why I didn't speak about that in my review. They were just Amazonian warriors. I know Dick Grayson presented her with the lasso, but honestly, it didn't register to me, nor do I think that will be the case. To introduce, this may be another question in this video. If it is, I might just skip it because I'm answering it now. For them to introduce Cassie as a fill-in for Donna next season, it would just be too unnatural. It would be too forced. I know some people like the idea of that, but in all reality, it's just like, you know, Wonder Girl out, oh, here, hey, throw Cassie in there. Like, it would just be a bit, like, uncomfortable, don't you think? So I don't think that's the way it's going to go, but we'll get, you know, more into the specifics of, the slot of Wonder Girl in the future question, I guess. God knows when it's going to be in this video. Bottom line, just assume for now that really wasn't Cassie, even though I get what people were looking at there. Next question's from Super Punch. Do you think Donna will ever come back? Yes, Donna Troy will be coming back in one form or another. But no, really. I think I've been asked a few questions about this. It's not coming up right now, but to answer straight away, yes, I think she'll be coming back in a very Troya-esque take. I don't think it'll be happening necessarily at the beginning of season 3. They might even wait till now obviously I don't know how this is exactly going to unfold. Like, only really Greg Walker knows right now, and he's probably still yet to sit down with the writers room. That's probably happening around about now. So as for Donna Troy, she will be coming back, but the question is for how much in season 3? Or will they just do a thing where she debuts in season 3 as a Troya-esque thing, and then like that's explored more in season 4? All I'm saying is don't get your expectations set to a level of, oh, Raven's got to resurrect her, Donna Troy's got to come back as a Troya-esque thing in episode 1 or episode 2, and she's going to be in every single episode of Titans season 3. I'm thinking if they do bring her, best case scenario for me is that she kind of gets back in episode 4 or 5, and then she's in the rest of the season. But that could be completely wrong, but she will be coming back for sure. I think Connor Leslie will be returning. Arb348 asks, what villain do you most want to see? For me, it probably is Lex Luthor. I think they have such an interesting thing going now with, the Superboy storyline. Of course, you have to weave that in with Lex at some point. They already have, but for a proxy, so to speak, of Mercy Graves. But I just don't know if they're going to get there in season 3. I think, if anything, best case scenario in my mind right now is that they actually do what they did with Batman in season 1 and give us a shadowy tease. I know people want to see a casting, but for me, like Loki, I would still fanboy out about it. I'd be like, oh my god, Lex was in that chair over there. Like they actually did that. Like that would be really cool. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do it. I'm actually very doubtful. But Lex is probably my most wanted villain to appear on the show. So Kelvin Lee asks, do you think Jericho will come back to his own body, get a new body, or stay in Rose? I think it might be a bit of both. So first of all, I don't think he's going to get his own body. I don't think they're going to like whip up a new body, clone a new body so he can go in that one. That would be cool, but I don't really see that happening. I want Chella Man to come back. I thought he was great as Jericho. I really do. However, I think they are going to stick to their guns with what was teased through Rose, talking to Nightwing in that alleyway. With that, you know, he's going to have to get used to the new digs, but like, he's great. He's really happy to be back in Rose's mind, and I'm sure he will take over sometimes. I'm sure we're going to see Jericho inhabit other people's bodies next season. He'll be a very useful tool that way. For example, you know, hijacking someone on a certain mission or to get information. Who knows how that, to infiltrate a certain building. There's limitless possibilities there. But I think they still should bring Chella Man back for scenes within Rose's mind. That can all be filmed in like a day or two for Chella. Like, you know, they could film episode 2 scenes, episode 6, episode 9 scenes, with Chella just recording, you know, in the mind space of Rose. That would be really cool. I think there's no problem in doing that. It's just if they want to spend the resources on doing that, which I think would just be a shame if they don't do it, because they could just have Jericho speak through Rose, and we know that's Jericho's character, but it would be that extra detail that fans appreciate if they get the actor in to film some mind space scenes. But as I said, it's all about will they, won't they? Next question is from Kelvin Lee again. So is Gar ever going to get a suit or turn into other animals? So yes and yes, I believe. With that new way of getting suits now in season 2, like, you know, how Nightwing got his suit. It would be really cool to see Dick Grayson go in there being like, hey, so, you know, I've got a guy who can transform into animals, and, you know, it'd be cool if you could design him something that wouldn't leave him naked every time. That would be cool. But we are going to have to wait and see there. But bottom line, with the suit element, there's no way that, you know, they can't whip up a new suit now. So that excuse is fairly easy to put into the show, especially with a crime fight. I mean, look at the way they walked out at the last scene. All the Titans there, new suit, well, new Nightwing suit. So it's very superhero-y now from, well, hopefully moving forward in season 3. So the excuse is going to be easy. And as for turning into other animals, that's a given. I think season 2 definitely disappointed there, but I get, in terms of what they wrote, I get why they didn't, because they kind of did give us a snake at the very beginning, but then with the development of the rest of the things, he didn't just conjure into a different animal. How would he even know how to do that? He's even expressed he only really knows how to do basically the tiger. So I think, you know, season 3 should explore, hey, why don't I try a different animal, or this, that, and the other, and then do it. I think if they weren't to utilize that, then that would be a big disappointment yet again. I know the CGI isn't great, you know, in the finale, and that's a factor as well, is just, you know, rendering all these new kind of animal or whatever they go with for Beast Boy next season. That is another factor. Like, that's just the reality of it. You can always complain about this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, this is a production. This costs money, and things get sacrificed. I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying, if you want to see Beast Boy turn into a monkey, to a tiger, to this, that, and the other, that's going to cost money, and that's going to sacrifice other things. But I don't know. I would say yes. Hopefully. Yes. Next question's from Janice or Janes, D's? I don't know, I'm sorry. Do you think we'll see Wally or Roy or anyone else in season 3? I'm actually going to lean more towards no. I'm not saying that the post-credits scene of season 3 won't introduce something like that, but honestly, the Titans roster is big enough as it is that, I mean, I think there's a good chance we will see somebody new in season 3, but I just don't want to say, yeah, you could see Wally West, an actual speedster in Titans next year. I would be so happy if that happened. I would say it's more likely that Roy would be implemented. I just think that makes more sense, even though I want Wally more. Like, it's less effects and stuff like that to get an actor who's a vigilante in, like Hawk and Dove, rather than somebody who's flashing lightning all the time and all that. But if they were going to do something like that, I honestly feel like they would have doubled up with that post-credit scene of Blackfire with another tease of a uncasted actor, so they would have got a stand-in like Superboy at the end of season 1 to tease you all that someone else is coming in. But that's still not to say that they won't bring somebody else in. There might be more Easter eggs. let's put it that way. But I just wouldn't rely on it. We've got a big roster as it is. Even with Donna out the picture for X amount of time, I don't necessarily think that guarantees somebody else walking through the door. But yeah, what I'll say there is don't get your expectations up. Don't think, oh, we're getting Miss Martian. Oh, we're getting Blue Beetle. Oh, we're getting Wally West and Roy Harper next year. Just don't think that, because you'll probably be very disappointed if you think loads were coming in. But that's not to say that they won't try and do something. So KOTS asks, my question is that do you think Jason Todd will die next season and become Red Hood in season 4? Obviously, I don't know exactly how they're going to execute this, but Red Hood is 100% on the table. They know that's a big thing for them that they can capitalize on. Now, I've said for the longest time, didn't think it was going to happen last season. Didn't happen. Or this season, last season, season 2. Season 3 is going to be a season-long development for Jason to even just go further down that hole. I think they made leaps, good leaps, not bounds, but good leaps this season for his journey to get there, with how rejected, I guess, Jason felt this season, how emotional he got towards the latter of it, to the point where he's kind of no longer with Batman or the Titans. You know, that's why he said F y'all and everything like that. So my prediction is that he could, I'm not saying he will, but he could die at the tip, like the peak, the iceberg of season 3, probably the finale or around about then. So season 4 would be that. But I still don't want to get my hopes up, but I think they will make leaps, and not only leaps, but bounds towards the Red Hood thing in season 3. Exactly how they're going to go about that, I'm really not sure, because it's like he's not with the Titans, he's technically not with Batman, so how are these scenes going to be integrated to show that development? And then, you know, when you're tackling that, you've still got all of these other plots and side arcs and stories, you know, to maintain at the same time, episode to episode. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But for sure, I think they will be going pretty ham on their version. That's important to underline. The Titans version of the Red Hood storyline. But I think people need to also kind of think to themselves or acknowledge, no matter what you think about Red Hood, you know, based on the Joker, and that's how the name kind of came about, the crowbarring and stuff like that, I would be gobsmacked if they actually did it that way. So don't think it's going to go down exactly that way. They may forge a slightly new path, as I kind of teased earlier on in this video. So I'm just not going to attempt to pronounce that name, because I would just screw that up as usual. But Daniel, I guess, is the easier option. Was there any explanation as to how Starfire was losing her powers? Not that I can remember. They definitely put the seed there and it was fizzling out. I think this trinkling of powers and fizzling out, by the time she gets them back and she's, you know, fully able to, you know, blast with her powers, I think that will be when we see that kind of Starfire suit, that kind of fully realized Starfire, if you know what I mean. I think that's where they're going with that. I can just see it in my head. And I know that you may have seen kind of leaks from the original season 1 finale where we got an iteration of that Starfire suit. I'm not saying it's going to be identical, but yeah, I think when she gets them back, she's going to be fully realized and have an actual suit, which will be awesome. But there wasn't, as far as I'm aware, any explanation right now as to, hey, why is this happening? It could be like a mental block, but I'm thinking it's a bit more than that. I mean, you know, the mind is a powerful thing in like real life, so maybe it is a thing for Starfire as well in the show, but I'm thinking it might have an actual thing to do with Blackfire as well, like maybe a more technical thing, but all this remains to be seen. David Torres asks, do you believe that Rachel will resurrect Donna Troy in season 3? But yeah, so we've briefly already spoken about this. I don't know if they will or if they won't definitively, but that was what they were spelling out with that scene. I don't think they really truly know themselves right now exactly what's going on. They don't have a long proper outline, I believe anyway, or at least from what I have heard. But yeah, I think that will be the attempt from Rachel going there. It's not only that, but Rachel can probably learn to utilize her Amazonian skills. What was I about to say? From the Amazonians, to utilize her powers that have been growing even more this season, especially post Trigon. That was like the starting point for her to like really go haywire with us learning about the Elko scene, all being Rachel and all kinds of things. So yeah, she's probably going to attempt it. Whether whatever comes to fruition or not is still yet to be seen, but Troya is probably got to be a thing. you could probably count on that. But yeah, when or how exactly still has yet to be seen. But I think that would be a cool way to do it. But I think Rachel will be coming back quite different as well. So Elias Pittman asks, why didn't we see the Titans batsuit as promised? So I've actually answered this already in I think my previous Q&A, but I'll go over it again very quickly. There was a batsuit made. There was lots of Batman-esque stuff meant to be implemented into this season. And this show technically does have limitations now, I think, because of like the Batman movies are coming out. So I think there's another question. I don't know whereabouts it is. So yeah, here we go again. This is from Jid's Plays, so I'm going to try and put these questions up at the same time. Do you think we will see Batman next season? And do you think we'll get Batgirl or Oracle or Superman or Clark Kent? What even happened with Bruce Wayne this season, and what other characters do you hope to see? So as for the Bruce Wayne stuff, why didn't we see the Batsuit? Will we see Batman next season? I think only going further out into the show and getting more close to Matt Reeves' Batman movies, that's why it isn't happening, and that's why it won't happen. I really want them to push the boundaries though. But as they've said themselves, everything has to run through like DC/WB in terms of like a final decision, and often they, get like rejected with things like this. That's why originally stuff was going to be in season 2 with Batman, but then ultimately it couldn't come to fruition. And as I said, because of the movies coming out in 2021, or should I say the Batman number 1 out of the trilogy coming out in 2021, we're not going to get any more of it. But I think they could have implemented like the bat symbol we found, which may be appearing on screen right now. This symbol was meant to be utilized this season, but it wasn't. And I can actually give you an example, by the way, from an anonymous source, in terms of where that symbol was meant to be used. So apparently in that finale scene, if I'm remembering correctly, if you guys remember when Ian Glenn put all the silly little faces on the screen of Mercy Graves, and that was all in the car or that van, that was meant to be, I think, this new Batman symbol. All those little silly faces were going to be replaced by the Batman symbol, but this is what I mean. It's like, why couldn't they have done that? That's how I think strict things are. So if you're thinking Batman for like, future seasons, if they couldn't even use that newly designed Batman symbol, it's fairly similar to the Arkham symbol. As I said, you're probably seeing on screen right now. If they couldn't even use it in a scene where they put the emojis on the screens instead, that kind of gives you an idea for how much limitations they kind of do have with specific characters like that. So with the other question, in terms of Clark Kent, Bruce and Superman, I'll never say never to that. I mean, things do change. Things can change last minute, as we've already kind of briefly gone over. And with Superman, not so much is being done in the movie universe, other than, what they're got to explore in the CW with Superman and Lois, that TV show, post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, surrounding their baby. I don't know what the restrictions might be with that, but who knows? I think they should, and I think if they're going to keep pushing Connor Kent, they can't not explore that. So yeah, I hope that gives you some idea anyway. It's not as simple as, hey, let's just put Ian Glenn in the Batman suit. Why not? No, there's a lot more background stuff than you would probably ever imagine going on with the yeses and nos. So why does I Exist asks, thoughts on Dr. Light. The character was built up for only 3 episodes to only kill him off and randomly never mention him again. So one thing I will say is that I hate it when, when characters are killed off, like villains and stuff. I'm more of a fan of in the comic books where they get apprehended, they go back to, whether that's, Blackgate or Arkham or someplace like that, where they can break out again. Another villain causes a massive breakout, so they escape through that, or they escape through their own means. That's what I like. And, Arthur Light, Dr. Light on this show, I liked the iteration of him. I wouldn't say he was the pinnacle, representation. I don't think he was like the best character, but I enjoyed him. And I want more villains like him for the Titans in future seasons, like next season, hopefully moving forward as a Titans crime-fighting force rather than an origin story of the Titans for 2 long seasons now. Basically what I'm trying to say is, Dr. Light should have stuck around, so maybe they could have had villains like him or other villains, like how Dr. Light was used in season 2 to pop up and, battle with them, or just in a typical kind of villain of the week thing, but only 2 or 3 times a season. So I enjoyed him, but I wholeheartedly disagree with killing villains. I get kind of how it was relevant to what Deathstroke did. Like, I can actually imagine him doing something like that. Killing is just always a bit like, unnecessary unless it was a long development to that point. But it wasn't. Dr. Light, yeah, it was just taken out. So Diogo Perez asks, do you think Hawk and Dove will finally get powers in season 3 like they have in the comics? No. I'm pretty sure they're not going to. That'd be really weird if they did. I mean, it'd be cool in the way you're going at it, or the angle you're coming from, but I think, with the initial discussions that they had with the actors and, for the characters coming on this show, it's the more grounded vigilante kind of thing. They've even spoke about it. I can't really paraphrase it pretty accurately, but the idea was for them to be vigilante versions of the comic book versions. I know what you're saying, but that was never what it was meant to be about for them. So don't expect them to get, those powers or anything like that with the avatars of, representing what they do for each half. I just don't think they're going to go that direction. And if they did, it would have to be a pretty good, interesting, long kind of season story of them just like, oh, I've been imbued with these powers. So no, it's going to be a more grounded vigilante approach. And to be honest, I don't mind that. I love vigilantes, love Hawk and Dove. Hopefully they'll be better next season. Hopefully the writing's a bit more relevant for why they're there instead of just, let's keep the really 2 strong characters from season 1 in season 2. We don't need to give them as much material because fans love them. But no, in fact, when you do that and don't give them a pure meaning for being there, or like I hate using the word relevant, but it's just relevant in this example. People like me do go off them. My favorite characters, I went off them a bit because they weren't really needed. But hopefully in season 3, Hawk and Dove will be not only the fan favorites of season 1, but also the writing will be a lot better for them this year. So versus Seed, you've asked a very interesting question. Maybe this could be a whole other video, and this video is getting long, so I'm probably gonna have to cut it soon. There's quite a few more questions, but if you could have rewritten the finale, how would you improve it? So this is a whole other video to be honest, but maybe I would have added 2 more episodes so that wasn't the finale. So, if Donna was always meant to die, it would have felt like a bit more of a warm-up. They could have kind of foreshadowed it a little bit, maybe had her acting a certain way, more heroic, and like, I'm going to try and do this or that, or I'm going to tackle Deathstroke with Nightwing to the point where she maybe would have died through the Amazonian bullet. That would have been cool, just like how Deathstroke tried to kill Jillian, so he has that kind of equipment. It would have been sucky, but it also would have been like a double down on Aqualad, like, oh, now she's died as well as Aqualad. I don't know. So 2 more episodes would have foreshadowed Donna Troy a bit more instead of her just out of nowhere, oh, electrocute. That like, we all know that wasn't great. I don't need to explain that. It is almost unanimous at this point. It wasn't great. I love Connor Leslie. I love Titans. I love you writers kind of thing. But come on, guys. That wasn't great. It just wasn't. I think you know it. Deathstroke was out too quickly. Yet again, this is why I probably would have added a couple more episodes, because for him to be the badass S.I. Morales season-long antagonist, for him to just be gone within a few minutes of the episode, and then there was still like 40-odd minutes left. What? You just had S.I. Morales and a really badass cool iteration of Deathstroke this season. And a season-long cook-up and warm-up to that final moment with Nightwing, and it was over before you knew it. It just didn't feel deserving. It didn't feel justified. It felt rushed. And yeah, so like, yeah, again, I would have given more justice to Deathstroke's character. I would have maybe had him go out in a way that was a bit longer. That kind of felt like the build-up was like a really big explosion rather than just like randomly start firing in the alleyway. I get why they did it, because Deathstroke would have had, taps on like the Titans because he was already after them. So it does make sense the way they did it in that aspect, but like, I don't need to explain how rushed it felt. And another thing as well, they should have included the scene of, what I found out in terms of how, from one of my sources on the show, that there was a scene of Deathstroke in hospital. Like, there just was. Like, but they cut it. Why? Because now you've got so many fans, even though a lot of people do know that, Slade's not dead, like, he's still around. That's what's happening, by the way. He's still alive. But there's also a lot of people who watch your show who might not be as clued in or, or whatever. And they now think Deathstroke, the Terminator, is dead. I don't know. I think those are kind of the main things. There's a lot more I could go into, and I think I might make a separate video about this. But, no matter what, when you introduce like a little pylon or whatever it was kind of falling down in a straight line and nobody runs that way, it's as dumb as what Game of Thrones did with Rickon not zigzagging, just running in a straight line. And other shows videos of the like. It just doesn't make sense, especially being superheroes, and especially with other superheroes there who could use their powers to sort out that situation. So this person streams, I can't pronounce that, but I can't even read that. Is it going to be on Netflix? I actually don't know the answer to this question, but all I know is that season 1 was on Netflix, you know, for all the other countries. Well, not every single last one. I think 3 weeks after. So for example, Titans season 1, I think finished airing around December 22nd or 23rd or something like that. And then it was on Netflix January 11th, I believe. So it might be a similar thing, but it might not. It might be. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Transformers, Harry Potter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, very long name. Also, I just want to say I love your channel and all of your content, especially your Titans videos. And I wanted to include that just because thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching and well, just enjoying my videos. I guess I must be doing something right there. But seriously, it wouldn't be the same if you guys weren't watching my videos, clicking the like button, interacting in the comment section. So I just want to say I really appreciate that. The audience and community we've built up with DC Universe on this channel has really been great. I just love talking about anything to do with it. So just another random thing put in here is that I really, really am thankful for it and you guys. So yeah, just thank you. Seriously, thank you. You may say you love my stuff, but I love you guys. That was a bit too sappy, I think, but still. Thank you. And that is basically the video, guys. We went over a bunch of questions again today. So for those of you who have made it to this point of the video, thank you. Even though I just said thank you, but thank you, really. I know Q&A videos are long, but I truly believe that is the kind of thing that you can just either skip throughout for different questions or just, you know, tune out any time. So hopefully I kind of addressed the interesting factors that you probably wanted me to answer about the finale. But if you have any other video requests, so if you have any ideas or kind of video suggestions for Titans moving forward, let me know them down in the comments below. Of course, on top of your thoughts and opinions on what I already discussed during this Q&A. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be doing Titans videos still going into Season 3, updates and stuff of the like, casting updates and things like that. But just let me know if you want me to do topical discussion video essay type videos and other things of the like. But yeah, that is absolutely everything, guys. So thank you so much for watching. As usual, if you did enjoy this video, like it, share it with your friends, share it with your Titans buddies. Make sure you subscribe if you're brand new, but also if you are subscribed, make sure you have the notification bell button turned on. I don't know why I went like that, as if it's appearing, maybe it is appearing on screen, I don't know, because it does notify you of my videos uploading, and it makes sure you'll never miss out on a piece of information or news whenever a video uploads, because sometimes it doesn't always go to your sub boxes. Join my Discord server. It would be great to expand the Titans family there. If you do join, do say hi. It would be great to say hello to you and have a conversation with you about Titans. Other than that, everyone, check out my past couple of videos here. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you Titans in the next video. Goodbye.